Perth is the capital and largest city of the Australian state of Western Australia. It is Australia's fourth most populous city, with a population of 2.1 million living in Greater Perth in 2018. Perth is part of the South West Land Division of Western Australia, with most of the metropolitan area on the Swan coastal plain between the Indian Ocean and the Darling Scarp. The city has expanded outward from the original British settlements on the Swan River, upon which the city's central business district and port of Fremantle are situated. Perth City is located on land on which the Whadjuk Noongar, the Aboriginal people of the southwest of Western Australia, have lived for at least 38,000 years. Captain James Stirling founded Perth in 1829 as the administrative centre of the Swan River colony. It was named after the town of Perth, Scotland, due to the influence of Stirling's patron Sir George Murray, who had connections with the area. It gained city status in 1856. Although the Perth City Council currently governs only a small area around the central business district, the city's population increased substantially as a result of the Western Australian gold rushes in the late 19th century. It has grown steadily since World War II due to a high net migration rate. Post-war immigrants were predominantly from Britain and Southern Europe, while more recent arrivals have led to a large population of Asian descent. Several mining booms in other parts of Western Australia in the late 20th and early 21st centuries saw Perth become the regional headquarters for large mining operations. Perth contains a number of important public buildings as well as various historic sites. Notable government buildings include Parliament House, Government House, the Supreme Court buildings and the Perth Mint. The city is served by Fremantle Harbour and Perth Airport. It was a naval base for the Allies during World War II and the Royal Australian Navy's Fleet Base West is located on Garden Island. All 5 of Western Australia's universities are based in Perth. The city has been ranked among the world's most livable cities and was classified by the Globalization and World Cities Research Network in 2020 as a beta global city. Perth is divided into 30 local government areas and over 250 suburbs, with the metropolitan boundaries stretching from Two Rocks in the north to Singleton in the south, and east inland to the lakes, outside of the central business district. Important urban centres within the metropolitan area include Armadale, Fremantle, Joondalup, Midland and Rockingham. Most of those were originally established as separate settlements and retained a distinct identity after being subsumed into the wider metropolitan area. Mandurah, Western Australia's second largest city, forms a conurbation with Perth along the coast, though for most purposes it is still considered a separate city. Aboriginal Australians have inhabited the Perth area for at least 38,000 years, as evidenced by archaeological remains at Upper Swan. The Noongar people occupied the southwest corner of Western Australia and lived as hunter-gatherers. The wetlands on the Swan coastal plain were particularly important to them, both spiritually and as a source of food. The Noongar people know the area where the Perth Central Business District now stands as Burlu. Burlu formed part of the territory of the Moro, a Noongar clan, which at the time of British settlement had Yelagonga as their leader. The Moro was one of several Noongar clans based around the Swan River known collectively as the Whadjuk. The Whadjuk themselves were one of a larger group of 14 tribes that formed the southwest socio-linguistic bloc known as the Noongar, also sometimes called the Bibumoon. On the 19th of September 2006, the Federal Court of Australia brought down a judgment determining another judge should make the opinion deciding Noongar native title over the Perth metropolitan area in the case of Benel v. State of Western Australia FCA 1243. The judgment denied the claim because that application was premised on the existence of a single community throughout the whole claim area. The Dutch captain Willem de Vlaming and his crew made the first documented sighting of the present-day Perth region by Europeans on 10 January 1697. Other Europeans made subsequent sightings between this date and 1829. But as in the case of the sighting and observations made by Vlaming, they adjudged the area inhospitable and unsuitable for the agriculture that would be needed to sustain a European-style settlement. Although the colony of New South Wales had established a convict-supported settlement at King George's Sound on the south coast of Western Australia in 1826 in response to rumours that the area would be annexed by France. Perth was the first full-scale settlement by Europeans in the western third of the continent. The British colony would be officially designated Western Australia in 1832 but